Another disastrous defeat, a terrible performance in the end from Chelsea. Graham Potter, he must be sacked as their manager. There was a little resurgence, a mini renaissance before the international break. But this man, he's not out of his depth. He is not drowning. He is already drowned. He is already finished. He is just laying there face down in the pool with everybody on the outside looking in thinking, when are they going to take him out? Why are we having to look at this? Swelling up by the day. The pollution getting worse. Graham Potter is not capable of managing a club the size of Chelsea. Him continuing here is nothing short of insulting to the fans and embarrassing to their legacy and their history that has been built up over the past 20 years. Know when you've made a mistake, swallow the financial loss, wipe your mouths, and move on. Graham Potter has to be sacked with immediate effect. Immediate effect. This is nothing short of disastrous. Disastrous. There was some good football tonight. There was some good passes. There was some nice phases of play. But this isn't football's not about looking good. It's about winning. If you can look good and win at the same time, utopia, brilliant. He did win 3 games on the bounce, including the good 2-0 win against Dortmund, the draw against Everton, and now back to losing games. Those 3 wins on the bounce were nothing short of, I wouldn't even say luck. They were the blip. The wins were the blip. And some will say, look, he just needs strikers. He needs a killer. He needs a goal scorer. And I thought long and hard about this because it's a good challenge. It's a very good challenge from people to say, well, if you give him strikers, they'll score these chances. Mykhailo Mudryk missed one of the easiest chances you'll see all year. But this team lacks resistance against pressure and has no resilience when adversity strikes. And when a team lacks resilience, when a team is weak, that typically is a reflection of the manager's character, his behavior, his aura that he gives off. Graham Potter, go back to the new style of dress, the weird fade he got himself, the midlife crisis. He looked like a 50-year-old man having a midlife crisis. I wouldn't be surprised if he got a sleeve tattoo, bought a Harley Davidson, kicked out his missus, and started dating a 21-year-old. It wouldn't surprise me. Bought a sports car in bright red with the roof off and was rolling around like he was a 25-year-old top G. This man is out of his depth. He is in a crisis. He has already drowned. He's already gone. Keeping him at Chelsea is nothing short of negligence. Pure, unadulterated, undeniable negligence. It is farcical for Todd Boehly to keep him. You're getting to a stage soon where this stops becoming a Graham Potter problem and becomes a Todd Boehly problem because he is sticking with him. The same as when a team continues to make the same mistakes after same mistakes after same mistakes. You stop blaming the players after a while and you focus on the manager. You simply have to. You simply have to focus on the manager. You can do nothing more than focus on the manager. This is where we're moving towards now. Potter should have been sacked a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago. Every day he's here, it's a disaster. Julian Nagelsmann is available. Pochettino, by the way, Poch isn't the guy to get you back to the top, but he's better. Look what happens when you bring a good manager in. Look at Aston Villa today. By the way, Aston Villa deserved to win. This wasn't just because Chelsea were poor. Villa deserved to be the winners today. But they got rid of a pretender in Steven Gerrard, an amateur, a clown in Gerrard. And they went and got a tried and tested top-class manager in Unai Emery. And look at the turnaround. Sitting 17th in the league they were. Aston Villa. Now, I haven't actually looked at their form, but they've not lost in 5 games since Arsenal beat them since that 4-2. Look at that. They got beat 4-2 by Arsenal, and they've bounced back with 4 wins and 1 draw and the draw was away to West Ham. Their form since Unai Emery has come in has been brilliant. They beat Man United 3-1. I'm looking Premier League only here. Forget the cups for a minute. Premier League only. They beat Man United 3-1, beat Brighton, lost to Liverpool, beat Spurs, drew with Wolves, beat Leeds, beat Southampton. They then did lose 3 on the bounce. They had a little blip, lost 3 on the bounce, including that game at the end of it to Arsenal, and now unbeaten in 5. That's what a quality manager does. Look at the squad Villa have got compared to Chelsea, and look at the tune that Unai Emery is getting out of them. If Chelsea had Unai Emery, they'd be in the top 4 race. They should, with this squad, they should be in the top 4 race as a bare minimum. But right now, they find themselves, where are they in the league now? They must be out of the top half. They're sitting 11th in the table. Now, Crystal Palace they actually won today, Palace, couldn't believe it. They're 8 points clear of Palace. They're not going to drop below 11th this season because everybody else below them is just significantly worse. But Chelsea are looking at a bottom half of the table finish. There comes a point where you've got to throw the plan out the window. As bad as it got for Mikel Arteta, it was never this bad. He wasn't sitting 11th in the league. He won an FA Cup in his first year. They didn't spend 600 to 700 million pounds on a new squad. He didn't have players of the quality of João Felix and Enzo and Thiago Silva, Reece James, Chilwell, to name a few. Quality. They should not be 11th. They may not be able to win the league, but sitting where they are is nothing short. It isn't even embarrassing. It is disrespectful to the heritage and the legacy of Chelsea Football Club. It is as simple and it is as straightforward as that. He has to be sacked tonight. Not resignation. Don't leave it until the morning. Tonight. Sacked. Immediate effect. Thierry Henry grabbing Jamie Carragher's leg. That's the level we're talking here. Finish him. Mortal Kombat style. Over. Out of here. Raid him with the lightning bolt. Boom. Finished. Todd Bowley has got to come in and drop him like a bad habit. Graham Potter is your biggest problem right now. There are other issues at the club, but this man has drowned and he's just floating there, as I say, face down. It is a calamity. It is a calamity for Chelsea. Look, we can banter Liverpool this season and Spurs. What's going on at Chelsea has gone, it's become so bad. I actually think we forgot. I almost think there's an element of forgetting how bad they have been this year. Their fans haven't, but everybody else seems to, because it's been so bad for so long. And if Graham Potter if they don't sack him, if Graham Potter had any decency as a human being, he would hand in his resignation. He doesn't deserve the severance pay. He doesn't deserve it. I don't want to, listen, you guys can defend him all you want, but you know I've always done this on the terrace. I stand for the integrity of the fans, and the fans deserve better than this manager. Todd Bowley isn't perfect. I don't think they've gone about everything in the right way at the club. But you give this squad to Pep, to Klopp, to Ten Hag, to Arteta. You go and get Antonio Conte back now. You wouldn't make the top 4. There's not enough games left. But I guarantee you're pushing for it towards the end of the season. Go and get Antonio Conte today, and he turns it round. Unai Emery would do a better job. I mean, you should have kept Thomas Tuchel, in my opinion. I said it at the time. Graham Potter cannot handle the pressure of a giant club like Chelsea. This club's won 2 Champions Leagues. This man had never been to a Champions League game, even as a fan, until he took over your club. He ain't handling that pressure. It's legitimately like a virgin trying to lose his virginity with Rihanna. He ain't going to be able to perform. With the way she moves, looks, talks, smells, her experience, he ain't going to be able to do it. That shit is staying flaccid. It's gone. That's literally it. This man can't do it. You've put a virgin in bed with Rihanna for his first time. He's only ever going to disappoint. He's only ever going to disappoint. And we all got suckered in by this, by the way. No, nobody's guilt-free. We all looked at Graham Potter at Brighton and said, I'd love to see him at a big club. I'd love to see him at a big club. We were all just wrong. And there are other managers that can step up. But the telltale sign is changing his appearance, changing his clothes, wearing different shoes, the damn fade. That wasn't you, Graham. You looked half homeless. You legitimately looked like a homeless person before this, with that kind of weird gingery grey beard. Stick to it. That was you. You respected for being like that. But instead, you came in and you tried to be something you were not, and the players saw through you, and you've been drowning ever since. And about 6 weeks ago, you were finished, my friend. Life support ain't even going to help you now. Legitimately. This guy is finished. He's a charlatan. He's a charlatan. And at every moment he stays is a disgrace to the heritage of Chelsea Football Club. It really is. The porn star and the virgin. That's what Chelsea are now. That could be a movie. That could be a movie. The porn star and the virgin. That's what we're looking at. By the way, I'm not calling Rihanna a porn star. I've changed the narrative. Sounds better. The porn star and the virgin. Starring Graham Potter and Kai Havertz in the supporting cast. I'm serious. The sequel. Look who's not coming too. Legitimately. It's a shambles. It really is. It really, really is. Oh my God, that Mudryk miss. Thank you, Chelsea, really. Listen, Akil, I actually think Mykhailo Mudryk would have been a success at Arsenal. But do you know what Chelsea have done here? Chelsea have made a mistake, and I fell for this. And I was wrong in this. Once bitten, twice shy. They made the Ed Woodward mistake. Ed Woodward used to buy a lot of targets that City had because he just thought, well, they must be good. But they didn't fit the system of the manager. And a lot of our ex-managers complained about this behavior because it didn't suit what we were trying to do. And I see that with Mykhailo. It just isn't right. You've brought a young kid for big money, along with Enzo as well, and thrown them into a mess. You've thrown them into a mess. It's ridiculous. Heritage, Chelsea have no heritage. They have 2 Champions Leagues. They have heritage. They have heritage. People, the whole shit club no history take. That's 2000. That was 2004. That was funny. That hasn't been relevant now for about 15 years, my friend. And no, it isn't a weird take. I'd stand by it. I'd stand by it. Graham Potter is like a virgin trying to date a porn star. It isn't going to work. It isn't going to work. Thank you for becoming a member, my friend. Member, I really do appreciate that. We have a super chat here that says, I feel embarrassed for Enzo. Doesn't deserve this. Potter is clueless. Kukurea centre-back over Badashila. James centre-back, when his qualities going forward, has to be sacked. I agree that the decision-making from Graham Potter is nothing short of gross negligence. You're right. You're absolutely spot on. Again, decision-making is a joke. Even the wins weren't convincing, with the exception of one. Potter has to go. Gav, I think most Chelsea fans around the world are going to 110% be agreeing with you. 110%. Potter needs one of these 10-year contracts Chelsea likes to give. Let him complete all 10 years. Let him be the gift that keeps on giving. He is to rivals right now. Look, as a Man United fan, I hope he stays until after Man United play him. It'll be just my luck, like with Tottenham, that the managerial situation changes. But yeah, the guy's got to go tonight. And if you're a Chelsea fan tonight, and I genuinely mean it's 0 damage, maybe a little bit, no one get hurt. You should all tonight, you shouldn't be leaving the stadium. And then every Chelsea fan around the land that can get to Stamford Bridge should be out there tonight and you protest, you do not leave you do not allow the board to leave the building until they have sacked him. Go and do it. Stand up for your club tonight. Go and do something tangible because you're being ripped off and lied to and cheated. Chelsea deserve this so much. Awful club. Long live Potter is what I cut my fart says here. It's April Fools. Ha ha ha. Potter is pranking us is what DR says. We have shared the link in the comment sections, by the way. If people want to come on and have their say, you'll see I've just posted it again now. AWB is way better than this fraud Reece James. Listen, Reece James has got some injury problems and he's been brought back in. He looks off the pace to me. He looks a little bit portly, a little bit overweight, and genuinely, the team is devoid of confidence, and it's a horrible place to be right now. Players are all going to start looking bad. As a Chelsea fan, he is so bad and way out of his depth. He's not ready for a massive club at all. Just get him gone. This is embarrassing. Today was a joke. And AMT says, think about it where Aston Villa were when Gerrard left. They were below Chelsea. Oh my God. And that's it. They were 17th in the league, Aston Villa. 17th in the league. And look what a quality manager has done. Yes, it's 100 million pounds. It's 100 million pounds to get rid of the guy. You're going to have to stomach that. You are going to have to stomach that because at the end of the day, you made a stupid mistake in giving him this deal, and it's your fault. Listen, fans are allowed to get things wrong. We don't have the access and the level of. We can't do the level of due diligence on a manager. The level of due diligence on a manager that Todd Bowley and his team can, but they can rectify it now. Go and get a proper manager tonight. Ollie is not a bad manager when you compare him to Potter. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would do a better job than Graham Potter right now. Absolute facts. He would do a better. Listen, he wasn't good enough. He didn't have the bottle for Man United. But this guy is a joke. He's going to last a season. That's the sad part. Yeah, Dyke. I actually feel sorry for Chelsea fans. The Chelsea fans in the Football Terrace community, I genuinely feel for you. On a brighter note, though, I just want to say the Football Terrace Top 6 podcast is out twice a week on Spotify and other providers. We have a link in the description and a link pinned into the live comment section. I know you're here to rant about your club. I know some of you here to laugh at Chelsea as well, the mixture. But please go and follow us on Spotify and get that set on auto download and give us a nice 5-star review as well. Twice a week we release that podcast, and we would love your support on that platform or on Amazon or Apple Podcasts, whoever you listen to. And I want to say thank you to the French, the Trinidad and Tobago, people from Trinidad and Tobago, and the Russian viewers for making us the number one sports podcast in those countries over this weekend. I am so honored that you have done that. I truly, truly am. We're going to go to some calls now and bring some people on. I have shared the comments. I know some people are breaking fast. I know they can't come on today. They've messaged and they really want to. I don't know the rules around what you can and can't say or do to that level. But if you want to come on and you want to speak and you want to have your say, please feel free to. The link, as I say, is in the live comment section. We'll keep posting it. Winter Surfer's coming out. Kai is coming out as well. Minerals FC. Noah is going to be here. I don't know who this. It's not. I don't think it's Minerals. It might be somebody else. We're going to bring them out to have their say on the show. Hit the like button for us as well. I know you're not happy with the result, but like my content, please. That would be very nice if you could do that for me. Let's do this. Welcome back to the show, gents. First of all, to you, Winter Surfer Andrew. He's got to go, hasn't he? He's got to go tonight.
He should have gone after Southampton. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I agree with what you say now. It's not actually looking at Potter now. My decision on Potter's done. It's looking at the board now.
Yeah.
It's on them. Because everyone's going to go, well, they'll give him to the end of the season. Terry, you notice you run a business. If one of your guys you hired is not doing well after 6 months and posting bad results, you need to get them out and damage control that as quickly as possible. This is also a business, remember, as well, right? It's not just a football club. This guy is just out of his depth. It's just it was too big of a climb. And legitimately, what player has got better under him? They've all got worse.
No one.
They've all got worse. Even the bad players have got worse. Yeah. People might say, "Oh, João Felix is playing more," stuff like that. I don't want this guy coaching João Felix. I don't want him
Yeah.
coaching Nkuku when he comes in. I don't want him coaching now. I just don't get. Just sack him now. Take the hit, like you say. Take the hit.
L. Take the L. That's it.
Right. Yeah. Take the L. But just take it. Just take it. Just take it while you can, and then build and repair things for the summer. Because I'm telling you right now, I couldn't care less about the Madrid games. I just couldn't care less. If this guy's in charge at the Bernabeu, it'll be one of the most disgraceful things you've ever seen in football in your life. If this guy is allowed to coach opposite Carlo Ancelotti, it will be like a charity game where they hire someone out from the crowd who's won a coupon prize to go manage for the day. It is a disgrace. Absolute disgrace, this guy. Terry, so I looked at the starting lineup and I thought, wow, is Badiashile injured or something like that? Is he injured or something like that? So you play a back three with Koulibaly in the centre and you put wing backs next to him as your central defenders. Who does that?
No one.
No one does it.
Badiashile can play. You need to play Badiashile because he can't play in the Champions League. So you need to play him as much as you can. And honestly, the substitution, then you're telling N'Golo Kante to come and just come back after 7 months to try and win the game for you. He was playing like an attacking midfielder.
Yeah.
What is this? I don't get. And then we let a guy who hasn't scored in 16 months score against us. John McGinn's not scored. Last time he scored was against QPR or something like that, 16 months ago.
Yeah.
It's just mad. They haven't won this since 2011. December 2011. That's when AVB was in charge, another rubbish manager. It's just.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what. If you're Potter in, if you're a Chelsea fan, you're legitimately Potter in. I don't know how. I don't know what you're watching. I just don't.
I totally get it. I want to speak to Kai. I'm going to come to you in a minute. Noah, Kai, a long time no speak, my friend.
Yeah. Hey, even better time, Terry.
Yeah, I know. What is your take on this, mate? What is your take on this?
My take, honestly, I like to apologize to Frank Lampard. I said he was horrible, but I take that back. Because this guy, man, 7 Premier League wins his whole time at Chelsea. 7 Premier League wins. That is relegation. If Tuchel's wins weren't here, when he would have been right now, he would have been 15th, Terry. And the fact that they're allowing him to stay here is an absolute disgrace. For me, man, the guy has no survival instinct in him, man. He has no ounce of masculinity, bro. When other men were hunting, this guy was picking berries, man. That's the kind of guy he is, man. He is not a Chelsea manager. He is not good enough. And the way that he reacts to, I saw when Emery was 2-0, he was animated on the touchline. He still wasn't happy with what he's doing. This guy, he put Kante when we're losing 2-0. He put a defensive-minded player when we were losing 2-0. And then all of us, we were sitting in a group chat whenever the Gallagher came in, and we were like, oh yeah, it's Gallagher. He literally have 3 Premier League wins in the whole of 2023, bro. And we're in April. So for me, the only reason he's still here is Bowley doesn't want to admit that he made a decision. A manager like Potter, bro, and a guy who just started learning coding is not going to work for Apple, bro. And it's the same thing with this guy. He isn't good enough for Chelsea. He doesn't have the personality. He doesn't have the ability to be a manager at Chelsea. And he's making all the players that we have decline. Every player that we have decline. And you know what's funny? People, it's the players. The players are always down in tool. We almost replaced the whole fucking 11. That's not our 11 we started the season with.
Yeah. Mate, I couldn't agree with you more. And again, I'm me, the way it works. It's fun to watch. I'm one of these people where I look at it and think it's fun to watch for a period of time. It's fun to watch Chelsea like this for a period of time, but then it just gets to a point where it's actually embarrassing. I'm actually embarrassed for you now, if that makes sense. And I'm not even trying to sound condescending. I cannot believe that he has lasted this long. It makes no sense.
It takes away from
no sense.
Every bit of honor that Chelsea have, that Roman Abramovich built in the last 20 years. Even the 15-16 season, we haven't had a worse season. Shout out Carlito, bro. We haven't had a worse season. And people arguing it's not going to be as bad as 15-16. It's not going to be as bad. I was like, yes, it is. It's going that way. And they were like, oh, you need to give Potter time. Which team, which big club would allow, not even big clubs, small clubs would get sacked for 7 wins the whole season in the Premier League? And then people be like, oh, he had a new team. Tuchel didn't come in the preseason. Tuchel actually came in January, and he made it finished 4th from 9th. This guy came in
Exactly.
September. He started in September. That's
Started
not
in
even halfway
September.
through the season.
That's beginning of the season, isn't it?
And it's the guy, man. I really I respect your channel, Terry. So I'm gonna be try to be PG. But this guy just doesn't belong at Chelsea
He
Football
needs
Club.
to dip out, man.
He's a loser. He's loser in his mentality. He's loser in his substitution, and he's loser in his vision how he sees the game. When he asking, it's like, oh, Chelsea fans should be excited for April. The only thing he did for us in April is move us from 10th to 11th, bro.
Absolutely mad, man.
The only thing good about us going to 11th, because we can't go any lower, because the difference between us and 12 is 8 points. He has 8 points cushion.
Yeah. But as you say, that's it. That's literally. It's actually crazy when you deep it. When you actually deep it for a moment, like it's hard to even like. I sit there and it's actually staggering. You actually sit there and deep it for a moment, and you can't drop any lower than this. It'll be the first time you've finished in the bottom half of the table
Since 1994.
Yeah, since it became a 20-team season. That is such a long time. We're going to add Zion to this as well. We're trying a slightly new format on the show tonight, so I want to see. There we go. That sits in quite nicely. I'm going to go to Zion in a minute, but Noah, from your point of view, it sounds like you've chimed in a few times. You're not backing the Menadriva, Noah.
He's an Arsenal fan. He's not even a Chelsea fan.
Man. Terry, how do you know my name, by the way? That's mad.
How do I know your name's Noah? Because you've signed in with YouTube and it shows me your name. It shows me everybody's names. Yeah.
Oh, you're such a geek, Terry. Anyway, but anyway, man. Like as I said, from an outsider's looking in, man. Like it's bad, man. Like it's like literally going to the camp of the soldiers with no gun, man. And clearly, Chelsea are getting shot everywhere, week in, week out. And I saw a stat, Terry, that Chelsea could finish lower than they did than in 1994 because like they finished like mid-table the first editions of the Premier League. Can you pull up that stat for me, please, Terry?
Yeah, I can get that for you. I can get the Premier League table up for you. You could, I think. We'll go and have a little check now on where you could end up in that. Let me go now. 1990. In 1993, the first year, you finished 11th. So you probably won't finish lower, but you could match that. Yes, that's the first time, and that was in a season where there was 22 teams in the league. So
and 42 games.
Yeah, and 42 games. So yeah, this could be peak.
If he's still in charge, don't bet on anything. Do you know what I mean? If he's still in charge, 8 points clear, don't bet on something how that
Terry,
gets eroded.
You know what's funny, Terry? I know somebody who been betting $100 for Chelsea to lose every game, and he made over £3,000, bro.
Wow!
Just from Potter.
Oh yeah, because majority of losses, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's most of the time Chelsea are favorite for some reason. I don't know why they're still favorite, but from $100 he makes 500.
You should be though, because considering the budget, I know football's not one on paper. And Terry, you said that whether it's not on paper or not, they should still be beating those lower clubs. So
yeah.
So that's why.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Chelsea, as we say, Chelsea should be beating these teams, and they're not. And I think that again, I can't talk for you all as Chelsea fans, but that's the thing for me. Like when I hear Liverpool supporters go, but we had this player out and that player out. Cool, that makes sense when you guys are losing to Man Uniteds or Arsenals or Cities. You know, maybe even some of the Brentfords and the Brightons that are having good years. But you guys have been losing and dropping points to some crazy poor teams with players that wouldn't get anywhere near your squad. That's when you know it's the manager. How do I know that? Because as a Man United fan, I've seen this happen at my football club. It's as simple and as straightforward as that, boys. It really, really is. Zion's here with us as well, my bro. What you saying, brother?
You're right, Terry. Everyone, big up.
Thank you, bro.
To be honest with you, Terry, it's become of a laughing stock right now. Chelsea as a football club has become a laughing stock this season. I mean, first of all, I never wanted him to be Chelsea's manager because he doesn't have that pedigree. He doesn't have that mindset of, winning game after game, winning trophies, being at that high level. Because he's come from a background where, everything's, done for him. You know what I mean? So at Brighton, there was a recruitment system where it was built for him. And Brighton's level is his level. Chelsea is on another level right now when it comes to, you know, Brighton. No disrespect to Brighton, because this season they're balling out with their new manager. So you can't blame the players anymore. I mean, they don't want to play for him. You can see it on the pitch. I mean, you know, you can see the stats. Obviously, you know, they did well today. But come on, tell me in the summer now, if you do buy a player, who wants to play for Graham Potter? I mean, if you name a big player right now, a Declan Rice, a Jude Bellingham, they're probably laughing at this right now and saying that we'll be crazy to join that club right now. So it shifts to the board, my attention to the board right now, saying, how have they not, you know, even said that he's under pressure? Oh, yeah, he had a couple of games before that Dortmund game, before the game against Everton. Yeah, he's under pressure. But really, is there pressure on him? Nah, I don't think they'll sack him, because they know if they sack him, they're going to have to pay a huge price. And that is pay his compensation fee, which is crazy, if you ask me. That is a lot of money they have to pay off. So it's crazy to see where we've dropped from last season. It's a massive, massive drop off. I mean, I know Liverpool are playing bad, but come on. I mean, this is with the players that we've got, we should be definitely in that top four. You know, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I mean, you should be. That's the long and the short of it. You should be challenging for it at the very least, especially after what you went out and purchased in the summer, in January as well, and added to it. You shouldn't be struggling to win these games in the way in which that's the bit. It's the level of struggle in these games that I just as a rival watching you, that's what I find really, really, really unacceptable. Does that make sense? I just can't believe how bad you I just can't believe how bad you are. It's
Terry, you
we're
can't
laughing
even
stock.
with this guy.
Seven Premier League
Potter,
wins under his name since he was
but with
Chelsea
this
manager.
guy,
7.
with this guy Potter, you
Crazy.
can't even blame the influx of new players. He hardly plays. The only ones he regularly plays that are new are Enzo and Felix. Those are the only two new players he regularly plays. So you can't even like go, oh, he's having to fit six or seven new players in the team. You can't even do that because Badashil's in and out.
Yeah.
Mudryk and Madueke played one game in like 5. You know what I mean? So you can't even like do that. It's the players that were there before. And I know some of them are not good enough. And I do know that. But I always say this, the way your team plays is a reflection of you as a manager. In all walks of life. The results they get and how they behave is a reflection on you. And there's no respect there. There's just no respect there. And I understand that because I don't know what the game plan is. I really don't. There's no style. I saw this guy after 24 weeks. I don't know what the style is. Tuchel after 24 hours, I knew what the style was.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's the difference. And everyone's going, even I have my doubts over like a Nagelsmann or something, but I bet if he was to come in now, I'd see a difference right away. Do you know what I mean? I would see something right away because, and I don't want to make this about an English coach thing because other English coaches doing well, but I just don't know what this guy excels at anymore. And it's not just him; it's his coaching staff as well. What do they excel at?
Yeah.
What are they good at?
Terry, I wanted to say if you see when he was managing at Brighton really they played good football. Don't get me wrong, but they couldn't finish teams off. And you know, you saw I never knew what the hype about him was, to be honest. Just because he's done well at Brighton, people thought, he can manage at an elite level of club. You're seeing it right now, you know, first to play in 4K that he cannot manage. He's clueless on the touchline. You see Emery barking orders at his team, even when they're losing the ball, and he's just there standing. Yeah. And when that ball was passed from Kovacic to Mudryk, and Mudryk, you know, hit it and straight at Emi Martinez, he's just clapping his head off. I mean, what's that? Good chance, one chance. I'm sorry, this guy, when it comes to elite managers, he's nowhere near that level. I don't think he's in a good level. You know what I mean?
I couldn't agree. I couldn't agree with you more, mate. I want to go to some of these super chats that have come in. Stay on the line, guys. This here says Bowley should be focused on buying the players Chelsea needed instead of trying to steal Arsenal's targets, is what Martin says here. And that's what's so hard to judge about this because you don't know what targets were Graham Potter's, what players were Tuchel's in the summer. Is there really a plan? And all the great things they've said, and look, I'm not a Chelsea fan, but I bought into a lot of what they said. Like, well, they're bringing in the right people at board level. Sounds like a great project. Maybe that is all fine. It is just, and the hope is for you, like, it's just the manager, because if it's just the manager that's the problem, it will turn around quickly. This here from Guna Dan, he says, Terry Cyril got to be questioning Todd Bowley now. Potter is the main issue, but Todd is letting this happen. Everton spend money. Look where they are. Not much. It's not about how much you spend. It's about how you run the club. And I think every Chelsea fan would agree with you 110%. 110% on that, my friend. They really would. The underutilization of our best attacking players in wing backs is a criminal offence. 2, I still don't understand how we get to outright strikers, but either make the bench. Kukurea over our best left-sided centre back this season is beyond me. Out is what he says there. Do you agree with that, Kai? Do you think he's at? I mean, that super chat for me sounds pretty spot on.
I mean, like the basics of football management is just putting the players in the right position. He played two wing backs, a center back, when we actually have center backs on the bench. That tells you all you need to know, man. This, and my issue with Potter, it's sometimes he overcomplicates the really basic decisions, which is ends up with us losing games because of him. And then today again, he said the same thing. I'm a pretty ambitious guy myself, and when I listen to him talk, I want to sleep. I don't want to be ambitious, man. I just want to relax. That's the kind of effect he does on me, man. Like today we lost, and he's like, the most important stats is that I feel like the boys gave everything. Yeah. Which I hate that sentence.
Oh, that'll be used tonight.
I hate it so much.
We had more shots on him. That'll be used tonight.
He's already said that the players gave it their all. The players were this, the players were that. Yeah, exactly. I'm not even a Chelsea fan. It's cringe.
They can give it their all, but if you actually watch us, if you watch us play football on transition, you can see how unorganized the team is. Without the ball and with the ball, we are completely unorganized. You can see it many times. Whenever we attack, you see Felix on his own against six defenders, while the other attackers are behind. It's copy-paste from the Lampard season, which I thought Chelsea learned from. But it's the same thing. Today we took Kante as a striker. Kante, 5'6" Kante, who's a box-to-box, arguably. You can say the same CDM, whatever you want. Trying to score for Chelsea. It's like, okay, and to answer one of your super chats, I think the club, I think we didn't need a midfield, a winger like Mudryk. I think it's a good decision. But the issue is we got Potter before we put the structure together. We got all the football recruitment after we signed Potter. And I don't know whoever whispered, and because you know how everything in business is like he knows, she knows kind of thing. I don't know who whispered in his ear that Potter is a good decision. When the guy, like you said, he watched Champions League for the first time when he managed Chelsea.
Yeah.
It's like they made mistakes and they need to fix those mistakes because football fans are very fickle, right? Like, we're not going to end it again. It's like, oh, yeah, let's give him another year. We're not going to do that. Today, the fans were chanting, you don't know what you're doing. They're singing Thomas Tuchel songs. They're saying sacked in the morning. The fans have had enough. Because, like you said, it is a disgrace for the badge. We are not, and we're not Spurs. We are 2 times Champions League winners. Yep. 2 times Champions League winners in 20 years. People don't realize how difficult that is.
Mate, it's so true. And that's, I was saying at the top of the video, it's an insult to the heritage that's been built over the last 20 years. Like, I got the jokes 20 years ago because you didn't really have much of a history, but you've built one. You've built a dynasty. And Todd Bowley and I have got to understand that. And I keep hearing but Arteta took time. Arteta was doing a better job than Potter's doing, in my opinion, on another level. He had some embarrassing results, and I know they went 9 games without a win at one point, but they won an FA Cup in their first year, and they weren't 11th. They weren't 11th,
and spent 600 million.
And he didn't win. And he didn't win only 7 league wins the whole season. For me, mate, I'm surprised how nobody in England speaks about the fact that this man has 7 league wins since he's been here. Rob, 7 league wins. That's ridiculous.
Graham Potter is being protected by the English media because a lot of people that work in the English media are desperate for an English manager to make it. That's number 1. Number 2, there are certain people and clubs, Liverpool never get called out on their high line being bad. It's just never discussed
today
at any great length. There's certain subjects in football that never, ever come up. And this one with Graham Potter's crazy. I'll do a super chat here.
Just one sec. Before, on that Arteta, what you said about Potter comparison, you can never compare Potter to Arteta because Arteta learned his trade from one of the best managers in the Premier League in Pep Guardiola. Potter was managing Brighton when Arteta was at City. So there's no comparison. Whoever's made that comparison is an absolute idiot.
No, mate, and that's where you're spot on, and that element is right. I think it made sense in the beginning, but then you go enough games in, and it's like they're not the same thing now. We can look back and we know. Akil says, given what we need now, Trossard is perfect. No doubt Mudryk would have killed it under Arteta, but how long would it have taken? That's a very good question to ask there, Akil. Blaze here says, the most painful part watching the potential of the squad going down the drain. I genuinely believe Pep would love to coach Chelsea's squad over.
I agree 100% with that.
Yeah, probably with a bit of Haaland and KDB in there, but absolutely. I mean, I always think a penny for Enzo's thoughts right now. Benfica could end up in the semi-finals of the Champions League, and he's sitting here like there must be. I know he's getting paid well, but there's a part of it. If he'd have waited till the summer, he'd have got a big move anyway. This here says Bowley should stick to American sports. Doesn't understand what football is. He thinks money will win every trophy. Plus, hiring a manager who is clueless is what Gemini here says. Think about this: we were 5th when Thomas Tuchel was sacked. Basically bought a new team and now 11th right now. Knew this season would be crap, but my lord. And that's just it. Yeah. Arteta took over when they were in like a terrible position. They went back slightly. And a lot of that was because he was completely inexperienced. You've got to remember with Arteta as well, it was his first job.
Yeah.
Like, Potter doesn't have the same leeway because he's been managing football. He must have been managing a decade. He must have been managing for the best part of a decade.
Can I add on this, Terry? Can I add on this? Like, I would compare it to, the difference between a lot of people like who don't watch Chelsea, they say, oh yeah, or people who do watch Chelsea want Potter to succeed, they use the Arteta excuse. But Arteta stuck to what he wanted to do from the beginning since now when he had better players. With Potter, what Potter did, he basically played the back four until 2023, and then he was like, oh, we should go to the back three because I don't think the back four was working out.
Yeah.
And the guy literally now what he's doing is, and why I think the club should sack him, because now he's just trying to save his job. He's just playing to save his job. He doesn't care how the players that he bought in will develop in his play. And you can see from his reactions every time we lose. But that's the issue again. If you have a manager who's going to be a project manager, but you don't even follow your own project, then what's the point of you managing?
I want to give you guys a quote. I'm doing a new overlay tonight, so I don't know how to add things to this overlay. I don't know what it would do to the screen if I put it in. But Graham Potter has said tonight, the stats are positive. I think the team gave everything. The intention was there. I'm responsible for the result, but the boys gave their best again.
Of course.
It's what a surprise.
I give him credit. I give him credit for singling himself out of the blame.
I said it.
That's good, but the stats are positive. This is the thing. I'm someone who I love statistics. But you can't just use statistics. The reason your team lacks any resilience is because it's a reflection of your manager. Does that make sense? It's a reflection of what Graham Potter is. My God. Stats.
The only stat Graham Potter should be worried about is that we haven't scored a goal.
Yeah,
and we haven't won the game.
If he likes stats so much, Chelsea have 31% win rate under him. That's the perfect stat of his reign here, man. 31% win rate.
The lowest of all Chelsea managers.
Scored less than 30 goals in nearly 30 games. How about that stat?
Even Maurizio Sarri had a better win rate and had a better goal ratio than Graham Potter. And people want
Sarri has a better win rate than Lampard as well, man.
Here's a stat
like
for you,
much
Graham.
better
P45.
So
that's a stat for you.
Using Sarri as an example is horrible, man. Sarri has 63% win rate, which is very high.
Oh, shove your stats, man. Really, Jesus Christ! So sick of that.
It's crazy.
That's what losers say.
Exactly. This is sick and tired of the gym teacher. Sack him now, is what Manuel Drip says. Joel, long time no see, Joel. He says, I can't believe we're having to say can't go any lower than 11th is a positive after watching that game. I thought give time, but now we do say that. But you lose your next game against Tottenham, Chelsea, and Palace win the next game, and suddenly they go on 33 and you're on 38.
That's what I'm saying. Don't rule anything out.
And we're playing Liverpool next. We're playing Liverpool next as well. No,
you're at Stamford Bridge. The good
doesn't matter at this point.
Doesn't
matter. We lost more games at Stamford Bridge than we did away.
This year says Chelsea should go for Nagelsmann. Do you guys agree? Is Nagelsmann the guy you should go for?
At this point, I would take any semi-decent manager because this guy is man. I would go
That's
for
the thing.
Nagelsmann.
That's the thing. That's the thing with this. I think most of us just want this guy out. I just want this guy out. Him and his staff, they need to get out right now. Nagelsmann,
Yeah.
I have reservations over, sure, but I get anyone in at this point. I
Can
don't
I
even care.
can I be honest with you, Terry? Yeah.
Mhm.
Out of respect to Mourinho, out of respect to Ancelotti, out of respect to Conte, out of respect to every manager who ever got Chelsea their success in the Roman era and before it, this guy should be gone from the club. Just out of respect for them and for what they have done for this club, because he's lowering every standard, every achievement, every record that they broke. He's breaking it in the opposite way. Just for the sake of them and for the sake of what Roman Abramovich has done for this football club for the last 20 years, he should be gone. And I'm surprised fans are not more outraged by the fact that what's going on at Chelsea Football Club.
There was more
It's a
fans
joke.
outraged on Twitter today of a Chelsea post about April Fool's Day before the game than actually. I saw more outrage than actual some of this team today. That's how tapped some of this fan base is. And I know we shouldn't take Twitter as like a whole fan base. I'm not. What I'm saying is, it's not about blaming the players now. The number one problem at this club is the manager. Okay, it's the manager. You have to get rid of him. And now what you said, Terry, is completely right. It's not even looking at Potter anymore. We've made the decision, most of us. We don't want him. It's the board now. It's not just Todd Bowley. It's Clear Lake as well. So I don't want to just on a Todd Bowley thing. It's a Clear Lake. My hope is that the guys like Christian Vivel who came in afterwards, they're not Potter loyalists. They're not Potter loyalists at all. They're not with Potter. They wouldn't have chosen this guy as Potter. I don't think. Hopefully they have more influence and just say, you got to take the hit. You know, why didn't they do what? Remember, David Moyes was still getting paid like 7 years later by Man United. Just do that.
Well, I read, I was reading a thread last night all about Mike Ashley, and they gave Alan Pardew and his team 8-year contracts in 2012. They only stopped getting paid in 2020. You might just have to swallow this. Chelsea OG joins us here. What are you saying, bro?
Yeah, man. Honestly, when I was watching this game, I get so many people tweeting me these little technical stuff.
You're on mute.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
You're really quiet.
All right. 1 second. Pow, I'm back now. Yeah, loud.
Yeah, go for it.
Louder, yeah.
Can't hear him at all.
Oh man, I just have to fluff this one. But yeah, man, I'm always gonna be part of it. I can't believe we don't have a pitch invasion. I honestly, I can't believe what we're going through.
Yeah, bro. It's honestly, it's so quiet. I can not hear. I actually can't hear you at all in my earphones, bro. Try dialing back in, bro. And we got a mad echo as well. I don't know what he was going.
That echo was louder than his audio.
Yeah. I don't know what he was doing there. I mean, Sammy here in the super chat says JT until the end of the season to instill some identity and passion.
That's not how football works. That's not how football works, bro.
Let's not.
You don't need passion. We need tactical knowledge, bro. We need tactical awareness.
Management and ruin his legacy.
Yeah. Andre here says Chelsea should. Is Nagelsmann the guy? Is that the person, or is there someone? Luis Enrique?
The only reason why
I would prefer
Nagelsmann is because he's a young, upcoming manager, and you can build, with him. But I'm still having my thoughts about him because why did he get sacked from Bayern? And we don't know what the inside and outside are. You know what I mean? I know they were struggling in the Bundesliga, but they were playing well in Champions League. But I want to hear what the actual behind the scenes were, why he got sacked from there.
Yeah, but it's the same thing that if you remember Potter, Tuchel, they were like, why would he sack by PSG? Good managers are not going to be happy if the clubs are run in the ways that they don't like them to be run. It's just a fact. But right now, we don't really need to worry about the club 3 or 4 years ago. We need to worry about the club now. Because the position that the club is in at the moment, like, Lord have mercy. Like, I never thought Chelsea would be this bad.
I hear you. Daniel here says he has a team any manager could wish for, but makes them look like the worst squad in the league. Daniel, I think you're spot on there, my friend. I think you're spot on. Chelsea OG back with us again now. What are you saying, bro?
Yeah, man. I got the mic.
You're on mute. There we go.
It should be clear now. Yeah, I got the mic right here. Yeah.
That's much better.
I'm telling you, I can't believe we don't do a pitch invasion at this stage, man. I don't know how we messed up by this. I don't know how we brought not only him, and we brought his team in as well. You just spoke about Alan Pardew. Same thing. This player is like another David Moyes, but even worse. At least David Moyes went to West Ham. That's a decent. I guarantee he's going to go to Championship or wherever, Svankstaville, wherever, Sweden, whatever he won, bro. So I don't know how we got into this situation. And I don't want to be that guy that's be like, oh, curses are real. We all know curses aren't real. We're just chatting rubbish. The football universe, the footballing gods, whatever people want to call them, it's not a real thing. But if someone was to ever make a real life case for it, it's this guy. This guy's, I can't believe how bad it's been. I can't,
Well, if the
like
football
any
gods
other
were real, they
team.
would have listened to my prayers, man. So they're not
That's
real.
bruv, you haven't sacrificed the sheep or something, bruv. Do something right, man. Bruv, this guy, I can't believe he's still at our club. Like, this is the worst ever manager in the history of Chelsea. And to be honest, I think he's the worst English manager, like, full stop. Like, he's bitten off not even that much. It wasn't even that much. Just get top 6, just get top 8 with this team. We've got like 3 squads at Chelsea. We brought players that were his before he even came, like Cucurella. You know what I'm saying? And then he brought his players in January, and he still can't get his S together. I'm just, oh man, honestly, like I hate it when he came to death threats. Yeah, don't threaten anyone's kids, but everyone in football gets death threats. I get death threats, bro. I'm nobody and I get death threats. You know what I'm saying? Bro, you gave out that address last time, bro. Same here. Meet me outside Fulham Broadway, whatever. It's all cool. You know what I'm saying? McDonald's will do it, but don't. Like, honestly, Potter's not about that life. And I see people taking pictures of him before the game and ask for autographs. Yeah, you know who you are, Charlie. And whatnot. Bro, I'm telling you, this guy needs 100% hate from the fan base so he can leave. I know it's a lot of money. Like, we're all humans. No one will walk away from that. But honestly, if you care about your kids, you'll leave that.
Yeah. No, do you know what it is, right? Like, this is the crazy thing. Those things shouldn't happen. But football, in an idealistic world, there would never be any abuse of any degree, whether it's about someone's children, whether it's about anything that's an immutable, whether it's about your life, whether it's just saying you're crap. But in reality, it's going to happen because there will be, of all of our clubs, Chelsea are no different to any other club. I think as rivals, we always try and like to make out like, oh, our club doesn't have this problem, it's exclusively with you. That's a nonsense. It is like there are a percentage of every fan base where people are going through terrible crap in their lives. They've got no money, redundancies, illnesses, family members dying, problems everywhere. Football is an outlet and an escapism for people. And when sometimes you're lucky enough to pick a team that's brilliant, or you pick a team and they become brilliant over time, or they get a takeover like you did and you become a brilliant team. Your club's like a reflection of you. My brothers support Leyton Orient, so they've never been a big club, but there is still a way to run the club where they feel proud. And when their club went through a period of being run poorly, some of the things they said at the grounds, said to the old owners, said to players. Brother saying, like, I look back now and I cringe. I cringe, but it's because it was kind of my outlet and it was a reflection of me, and I wanted it to represent me, and it made me so angry how they treated us and treated the club and the history. And that's a club that doesn't win. So I don't think it's just because our Chelsea fans are not winning trophies anymore, therefore they're angry. I think this is beyond trophies for people. The problem you then have is the longer he stays here out of his depth, the more crap he's going to get. Now, I'm not condoning it. I'm not saying that it's right, but it's inevitable. It's going to come. And if he isn't able to turn around the football, it's going to continue to come more and more and more and more and more. So they have to look at this and go, right, he doesn't want to suffer the abuse, and he shouldn't get the abuse, but let's not beat around the bush. And some people in the comments will say, oh, Terry's condoning abuse. I'm not. I'm just telling you it's going to happen. It's as simple and as straightforward as that. I say this to all content creators. As much as you don't want anyone to give you any stick for your opinions, if you do the job I do, you are going to get abuse. So I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say it's really wrong and it shouldn't happen. Of course it shouldn't happen, but it will. So you've got two choices. You either learn to ride with those punches, become better at what you do so you get less of it, or you walk away. And I look at Graham Potter and think, you ain't going to improve what you do to get them off your back. No amount of emails from the club, messages from the police, like messages from Todd Bowley, John Terry could send out a tweet. The angry Chelsea fans and the ones who are a little bit unhinged, like all fan bases have, they're going to come for him hard. He has to now sit there and think about that. That's why I said tonight, he should be handing in his notice because it's not good for him and it isn't good for the club. It's absolutely abhorrent that he's getting that level of abuse, but it will happen and he's not going to improve the football. So it's going to continue. It isn't going to stop. These people don't care.
Can I add in your point, though? He doesn't really help himself either with his comment. Like today after the game, he's like, it's not for me to talk through the story of the season now. We came in September, which is basically the beginning of the season. So I don't know why he mentioned it. A lot of games, a lot of injury. It's difficult to find the consistency. To me, any manager at the top club get injuries, and any manager at the top club gets the same story. Which club is lucky enough through the whole season not to get any injuries? It doesn't happen.
Zero.
It doesn't happen. That's not an excuse. You can use that excuse as Brighton, but at the big club, you get injuries and you get a lot of fixtures because you're playing Champions League, you're playing FA Cup, you're playing Capital One Cup, whatever it's called right nowadays. But in general, you always get games and you always get injuries. And the excuses you make, it's the reason why people are like, you are not Chelsea manager. You're finding too many excuses. Every time you lose, it's
Yeah.
like the player gave everything, but you lost.
Absolutely. And listen, as I've said, death threats and threats of ill health and things about children, they're unacceptable. There is no place for them in football. I 100% condemn them. If anyone came on here and made that comment, they'd be chucked straight off the show. But Thomas Tuchel's, this is a message to him. And if I was in front of him now, I'd say the same thing. You are going to get it. Because it doesn't matter who says it's abhorrent, no matter who. Look how many like famous celebrities and hugely influential people tweet and say, don't say this and don't challenge that and don't say, does it stop it? No. Like, it's going to happen, and it's going to happen even more. Not being condemned, we're just speaking on realities here. This guy's in for a rough ride if he isn't removed. And I think Todd Bowley also has a duty of care to Graham Potter to remove him from that. Football aside, this guy is going to get dog's abuse. He's not good enough. Get rid of him, protect the club, and move on. That's what's got to be done here. You've got to take him out of the limelight. The guy is a rabbit in the headlights, and he's in absolute trouble. He really, really is. And I know some of you, and pause, I know some of you are not going to like that. Well, we just got to condemn it and move on. No, this is a football terrace. There's no echo chambers here. Facts are facts. Todd Bowley's got to protect Graham Potter now and remove him, because some Chelsea fans tonight are going to be in those DMs. They're going to be sending letters. They're going to be doing whatever else it is. It isn't right, but it's going to happen. I think that's what Chelsea OG was saying. Chelsea OG wasn't saying, let's go and do it. He's simply stating, it's going to happen. So, yeah, I totally get it.
And you know, it's almost like he's getting paid for it. Like I feel like Bowley's telling him, "Hey, take the abuse. I'm paying you." It's deep.
I think they're deluded. I think they feel that the football will turn around and it will go away. That's true, but the football ain't going to turn around. Like, it's not. This is wild that Frank Lampard got top 4 of a transfer ban. I mean, Frank Lampard's a better manager, clearly. Well, I don't know about that, but yeah, it's But that's the thing is, though, do you feel like you guys have got
the garbage?
Do you sort of feel like over the year, like I know you won something with Tuchel, but you kind of feel like over the last 4, 5, 6 years, you've just become less and less resilient, less and less scary, less and less dominant year in, year out.
We got unlucky as well last season.
Can I be honest with you?
No, we weren't unlucky last season.
I'm going to say something very unpopular in the Chelsea fan base. Once Chelsea starts seeking that fantasy of a Cobham 11, let's have as many young players as we have. That's and it's due to me. That's one of the reasons why I was very opposed to Lampard coming in as a manager, because once he came in, a lot of Chelsea fan base, a big section of the fan base, was happy with us kids making to the lineup. A lot of people don't care. They're like, oh, just give the kids a chance. Just give this a chance. And ever since, trophies stopped being our priority. It was more the love of the project, right? And then Bowley came in, and everybody was in love with that idea. They always wanted the romance in football, right? They always wanted the Pep or the club project. The difference is Pep and Klopp are known to be able to win league titles and to do it at the highest level, you know? And Potter, on the other hand, he's not going to have the same effect. If you're gonna any project, not just in football, right? If you want to have a project, you need somebody who have done that project before, or signs of him being able to do that project, right? If you're gonna build a house, you're not gonna trust your house with an architect who never designed a house in his life. This is gonna be his first house. Same thing with a project manager. You need to have somebody who's good, which is crazy to me. Why people assume that that the project manager has to fail this miserably, and it didn't just gonna magically turn around.
Do you know what it comes down to in business? I wrote this word down on the paper earlier and just said investment. Everything you do in your life is an investment. That's how I view the world. So your friendships are an investment because they should nourish you and you should nourish them, and you should become better people. You shouldn't hang around with people that bring you down. In business, same principle. KJ works for me at the Football Terrace. KJ's an investment. KJ's job is to help make the shows better that grow the business, runs the click channel that grows the business. And eventually we're going to expand and bring 2 or 3 more staff members in, and he'll manage them. And his job is to make each individual make the business better. Well, what is our purpose? Our purpose is to try and create the best content possible for fans, and it's always going to be fan orientated. Give fans a voice, fans' opinion. But we want to, and to do more of that, we need to grow the business, and then we can invest more of that back in. Everything's an investment. Chelsea have invested in Graham Potter, but he's essentially damaging them. That's not a good investment. You have to know when to cut your losses. You have to know when to cut that bad friend out of your life. You need to know when to end a relationship that's not good for you. You need to understand sometimes in life you'll go down a particular road and doesn't mean you're a failure, but it isn't right for you and you've got to pull away from it. Everything's an investment. And Chelsea have invested in a manager and his team, and they are making no return on that profit. It is not fruitful. The yield is going to be in the negative areas. There may be no Europe next year. A bloated squad with no Europe for rotation, with the wages these people are on, you will start running the risk of FFP problems. Legitimately running the risk of these situations. It's honestly crazy. And do you know what? This super chat here, I would honestly do this. This is what, if you couldn't find a permanent manager, this is what you should do to the end of the season. Get Emma Hayes in the dugout. Emma Hayes is a better manager than Graham Potter. She would have zero. I'm calling her a she. I assume she identifies as a she. You never quite know nowadays. I mean that with respect.
Yeah, she does.
I think she does. I think she absolutely does. But like, she's a better manager than Graham Potter. She knows Chelsea. She'd have no issues commanding respect from any of the men and or boys. Some of them are very young in that changing room. And I guarantee you she'd do a better job between now and the end of the season. That is an option. In fairness, she probably can't because she's managing the ladies' team. And I assume I think they're doing the Champions League, aren't they? But that would be a better option. That would be a better option.
She probably have bigger cojones too, man.
She does. Yeah, again, but metaphorical ones, and absolutely.
Yeah, metaphorical one, yeah.
She absolutely does. She absolutely would have more than Graham Potter. I guarantee she's more assertive. She'll be more dominant in that dress. And you have to be assertive and dominant to a degree. I've been watching Ted Lasso recently. And by the way,
he did a better job.
No, I think Ted Lasso is a brilliant manager. He's an awful coach, but he's a brilliant manager. And it's in the series, as funny as he is and as jovial as he is, every now and then when he has to be stern, man is on point. And he's got the respect of that room. Are you telling me any of the players in that room would shudder if Graham Potter shouted at them? You would like that, weak teacher at school that you laugh at. That's him.
Yes,
He's
that's him.
He's that
he
weak
gives off the vibes. He gives vibes off of like a guidance counselor.
That's what I'm telling you. Like, and Mourinho is like a sergeant. You know, your drill sergeant. If you went cadets, like you might know them bears are hard. You have to listen to them. He's like a Principal Seymour Skinner when I see Potter, bro. I swear down.
And this is what you got right. There's a word again, another business word I use, and I think this works in coaching. I used to use this a lot with my coach. My coach with me had what I called assertive charm. He could be really like on the edge of aggression with me, but the way he spoke to me, I was like, but I know he's got my best interest at heart. I called it assertive charm, and that's what you need. You need to be charming so people like you, but you need to be assertive so that they know they can't walk all over you. And for me, this guy is a yes man to his players, and it's failing. And I've seen it with Ole Gunnar. It gives me Ole Gunnar Solskjaer vibes, but he's worse. He's much worse, but it gives me those vibes. It's really, that's what I think. Look, gentlemen, thank you. All the viewers, thank you, because I've got to get ready now to head on out and watch AJ fight tonight. So I want to thank you all for tuning in. Please smash the like button before you go. And really important to us, go and follow us and download our podcast on Spotify. The link's in the comment section below, or the live comment section, or in the description below. Please go and follow it. Give us a little 5-star rating over there as well, and set it to auto download. So when we upload it every week, it downloads onto your phone. You'll get a notification when the podcast comes out. We're really trying to push the podcast hard at the minute, so we really need your support. I know you're not happy with your club at the minute, but at least support the Football Terrace. It means a great deal to us. OG, Zion Kai, and Man Like Winter Surfer, thank you. My viewers, my super chatters, my members, you're amazing. I genuinely love you from the bottom of my heart. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all again very, very soon.